Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith. This is Wednesday, October 16th in the beautiful Southern California.
Beautiful.
I'm Shakur, he's Smith, a.k.a. Crispy. It's a podcast about history, politics, and race from a cool perspective. We always like to break it down simple for you guys. We like to just try to bring you guys factual information like we say all the time. And today we're going to talk about wine. Crispy and I both live in the wine country area in Southern Cali. And, it's been interesting for both. I think we both have been here almost 3 yery You
I've been here three
and me just under 3. February will be 3 years for me. And it's really new and different and opened up my mind about wine and taste. It's been it's been a really cool experience thus far, Anyway, I'm a filmmaker from Trinidad and Tobago for those of you who are just tuning in to HPR Chronicles for the first time. I've traveled a lot and I always travel. I've always had a love history and politics. Chris is a veteran of the Army Reserves that works for the VA, and he has a passion for history and politics as well. We're about truth. We're not about any race or any particular subject. We're about pro-truth. And we always say the truth offends you. We're sorry, not sorry at all. Sorry, but we're just not sorry. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, ISENT Group Digital. Hit that like button. Hit that notification button so you know when we're coming out with these cool podcasts and stuff like that.
Yes.
And thank you for listening on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and all the other streaming platforms as well, on the cell phone apps, the whole deal.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we're going to be working on iHeartRadio soon for this podcast. And yeah, hopefully they'll give us a nod and you guys will be able to check us out on there as well. Last week we did a good episode about guns.
Yep.
Stuff like that. This week, we're going on the total opposite end of the spectrum. Wine, romance, tasting. So we're doing something completely different. Yeah. So I'm going to let Crispy go ahead and take the lead on this, and I'll interject and ask my questions as we talk about this good tasting wine. I should be drinking wine today.
We should.
And instead, I have some in the fridge. It's just too expensive. I'm only opening that for a special look. I have 4 bottles in there that I'm saving. That he told me to start saving, that I'm keeping for special occasions. So we don't have wine today, even though we're talking about wine. But anyway, you guys get the idea. Go ahead.
So really, I'm going to start with talking about Temecula and then the wine country.
Okay, cool.
So, because a lot of times we mention, we're here in Southern Cal, but where are we exactly? Temecula. Yeah. And what do we do sometimes for fun? We go to the wine country, wineries.
Right, the wineries,
Temecula is a city in the southwest part of Riverside County in California. It is a tourist and resort destination because of the Temecula Valley Wine Country, Old Town Temecula, the Temecula Valley Polo Club, which I've never gone to, didn't know about that one. That's a new one for me. The Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Fair, I've heard of that. I've heard it's a good time. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of hot air balloons.
And I haven't done it yet, probably because I'm kind of scared. But
I want to do that one. I want to take my son, but he said he's scared too.
I want to do the hot air balloon too.
The Temecula Valley International Film Fest. Didn't know if you know that one. Mm-mm. So you're going to have to look into that. Yeah. And championship golf courses and resort accommodations for tourists. The city of Temecula is approximately 58 miles north of downtown San Diego. So we just go straight. You go straight up to 15. You run right into us.
Yep.
And 85 miles southwest of downtown LA. That's a little bit more maneuvering to do.
Yeah.
And so I normally tell friends like getting to San Diego is about an hour. Maybe a little bit longer, just depending on where. Mm-hmm. And LA in good traffic, what is it? About an hour and a half in perfect traffic. But normally it's about 2 or 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, to go from where?
Here to downtown LA.
Oh, yeah. If there's no traffic. If there's traffic, yeah. Because I came from downtown last night. I did like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah. So it just all depends.
No traffic. Yep.
Yeah. All depends. So, and I will add, we are also like an hour from the Palm Springs.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's really a nice little spot.
Essentially located.
Driving up to Vegas, straight up to 15.
Yeah.
If you want to get to Phoenix, you should take the 10. So Like
Yeah.
just get on that road, go, boom, for Phoenix, boom.
I love
15,
that. I love that about it. And if I could add, our elevation is 1,300 and something feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Which I learned, which is totally different from LA, which is only 300 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'd be driving from LA from seeing my daughter, and when I get here, it actually gets colder as I get higher and higher and higher and higher. It gets colder. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting to see, and I'm watching it just get, and that's what made me look it up one day. I'm like, what's our elevation? So I downloaded the elevation map, and I saw we're so much higher
than the coastal.
Than the coast. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
And also, we'll get colder than the coast, and we also get hotter than the coast
too.
So Temecula is next to Marietta, which is to the north of the city, and Pachanga Indian reservations, and San Diego County to the south. The population is around 100,000 during the 2010 census. So go out and complete them census. And the estimated population is currently the estimated population somewhere around 115, give or take.
Yeah.
So pre 1800, there was it was inhabited by the Temecula Indians for hundreds of years before contact with Spanish missionaries. Interesting how we bring Spain back into this conversation.
Back into it. See, we did Spain.
Yeah. In Pachanga history, life on Earth.
Sorry, Frisbee, can you say that part about Spanish again?
Pre 1800, Temecula was inhabited by the Temecula Indians for hundreds of years before contact with Spanish missionaries.
Wow.
Spreading the gospel.
And the word Temecula means fog or something like that. Fog, and I looked that up.
I know you looked it up, but it gave me some other names or meanings, so it's similar. In Pachanga history, life on Earth began in the Temecula Valley. So for them, this was the center. They called it, and this I'm just going to spell it, EXVA, Exfa, and then Temecula, Temeeku. And I've seen that name around here, but Temecula, I guess, which means the place of the union of Sky Father and Earth Mother. The Temecula Indians lived at Temekunga, Temeekunga, which means the place of the sun. Other interpretations of the name include the sun that shines through the mist, or where the sun breaks through the mist, which goes with your fog part. So.
Yeah. And again, I'd rather say for our listeners, natives and not Indians.
I'm sorry, natives.
Columbus was looking for India, so they called everybody Indians here.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Yeah. Natives.
Being a history podcast, we got to.
We do. I'm sorry. Please, thank you for.
Yeah.
And I meant to really change that, and I did.
The indigenous people.
You know. The first recorded visit was in October 1797 by Father Juan Norberto de Santiago and Captain Pedro Lizade. The trip included Lake Elsinore, which is the Lake Elsinore area, and the Temecula Valley. Yeah. So that's a little bit north of us.
Yeah, Lake Elsinore is about 10 minutes north of us right now.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
It was colonial Spanish settlers who planted grapes and vineyards that were well suited for the climate. So the climate here is definitely meant for suited for making wine. And then there's so I'm gonna give a shout out to a website called basically the TemeculaWineries.org. They have this one little blog that just breaks down the history of the wine country nicely. So I'm just this I am going to read verbatim. Okay. So, and this is courtesy of the city of Temecula and Robert Renzoni Vineyards.
Oh, cool.
Which we've been to.
This is a nice vineyard.
Nice
winery. Yeah.
The view is very nice.
Good wine, yeah.
And people love their reds. So in the 1850s, Temecula became a stop on the stagecoach lines that were becoming the logistical route of choice in California. So popular was this route, a post office was set up in town, which was a rare institution in California at the time. Settlement increased during the late 1860s as displaced Confederates moved west in the wake of the Civil War. Interesting. Again, Confederates coming this way. Kind of makes me think a little bit more about the area.
Yeah.
Anyway, because of the region's isolation, Temecula retained many of its Native American, Spanish, and Mexican customs and culture long after California was seceded to the United States. Throughout time, however, Native American lands were being purchased or seized, and in 1875, the final blow was delivered when tribal nations signed a treaty relinquishing the remainder of their land in the Temecula Valley. A decade later, the Native Americans who remained were relocated to the Pechanga Reservation.
Why did they sign it over? Because of wars and stuff they couldn't fight? Why would someone sign their land over? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
That's like someone coming and saying, Crispy, we want your house. And you go, you know what? I'm going to sign it over. I'm going to move next door.
Or maybe they had, unfortunately, they were probably the use of guns and stuff, and that they were able to overpower them.
Yep.
And said,
like,
hey,
fight, we'll just sign it over.
Sign it over, and then we'll be like, they gave them a piece of land or something.
No one's just going to give up their home.
Agree.
Go ahead, yeah.
The railroad line boosted Temecula's economy when the route was extended to the region in 1882. Unfortunately, the line was abandoned later that decade due to damage from incessant flooding. The major industries during these years were stone quarries, cattle, and shipping. During the American Prohibition of the 20s and 30s, the Temecula Valley operated its share of bootlegging and speakeasies, which we have a couple of those, which now makes sense why they brought speakeasy into Old Town. Yeah. Interesting. In 1904, Walter Vail arrived in Temecula and bought nearly 90,000 acres in the region. His family would do much to influence and shape the town during the first half of the 20th century.
90,000 acres?
90,000.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
How did he buy 90,000 acres? Who sold it to him?
So that I don't know, but I do know that my little thing that I have had about him is that his family migrated here to Temecula from Nova Scotia. So he just bought land, and some he had partners too. Oh, okay. So I think overall, by the time they're saying he had near.
Holy crap!
Accumulated 90,000.
Wow.
Acres. The Vail family's biggest achievement was damming the Temecula River and creating Vail Lake in 1948. In 1961, Malin Vail had been successfully operating the enormous Vail cattle ranch for nearly 6 decades. He was in his 70s and his health was failing. With no immediate heirs, Vail began actively seeking a buyer for the ranch. One of those potential buyers contacted Richard Brake, an experienced farm manager and broker from Fresno. The buyer wanted his professional opinion on the feasibility of growing citrus on the property. After reviewing temperature records for the Temecula area kept by the University of California at Riverside, Brake became convinced that the climate and soil conditions in the valley were better suited for the growing of wine grapes. Interesting. In 1964, Vail successfully completed negotiations on the sale of the ranch to Kaiser Industry and Mako Realty, who together formed the Rancho California Development Corporation. Throughout 1965, the development company mapped out its plans for a master plan community. The community would include commercial and industrial sites as well as residential and agricultural development. The campaign attracted the attention of a number of notables, including then California Governor Ronald Reagan, who purchased a sizable portion of the Santa Rosa Plateau.
Who, Reagan purchased that?
Yeah.
Wow, that was just right up the street here.
Holy cow, I didn't know that.
Crazy.
Another Hollywood couple who saw an opportunity to pursue a long-held dream of retiring to a sizable state with a comfortable Mediterranean-style abode was Vincenzo?
Yeah, Vincenzo.
And Audrey Clouseau? Oh, Cilurzo. In Cilurzo.
Yeah, Cilurzo.
So then in 1967, they purchased 40 acres of property down a long dirt road known as Long Valley Road, soon to become Rancho, California Road.
Oh, wow.
Damn. The Cilurzos established the first modern commercial vineyard in the Temecula Valley in 1968.
Wow. So Rancho, Cal used to be Long Valley Road.
Yeah. And just a long dirt road.
Rancho, California.
So in 1974.
Wow, so that was just a long dirt road. But I'm just imagining that because we go to Rancho Cal every day, guys, when we go into wine country. We go down Rancho Cal.
In 1974, the founding of Callaway Winery by Eli Callaway of golf fame marked the beginning of large production winemaking in the Temecula Valley. Callaway sold the winery in 1981 to Hiram Walker and Sons. John Poole opened Mount Palomar Winery in 1975.
Wow.
And in 1978, the Cilurzos opened another Temecula winery at a new site. Their original vineyard, Temecula's oldest, is now owned by Maurice Carey Winery.
Oh, wow.
Today, there are over 40 wineries in the Temecula Valley. Though Temecula became an incorporated city in 1989, the region originally or officially became an American viticultural area, which is AVA for short, in 1984. Modern Temecula Wine Country is located east of the Rainbow Gap in Riverside County, and the Temecula wine community has grown considerably since the humbling beginnings.
So Temecula was only incorporated in 1989. That's a new city, man.
Wow.
That's a new city.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so from 1990 to present, Temecula Valley has rapidly grown. Many families began moving to the area from San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange County because of the affordable housing prices and the popular wine country. Mm-hmm. Temecula has a warm Mediterranean climate. August is usually the hottest month, and December is the coldest. The rainy months are from November to March, with February being the wettest. The driest month is June. The hot months are from July to September. Storms occur, but they tend, like rainstorms occur, but they tend to be short and little, if any, rainfall. I will say the first few times I'd be out and I'd be like, is it raining? Yeah. And it's like a fine mist. And it would just happen for a little bit. Nobody really, and growing up in Illinois or Chicago and being also out in Wisconsin, when you start feeling a little, it's coming. So you don't just, here you just be like, it's going to disappear. Whatever. So it was always nice. Where did I leave off at? Yeah, snow is rare, but it has happened, and most people remember it have very fond memories of it because back in snow, and then before that was the 19. I even could see it from here. Yep, was 2014. Right. I mean, we see that, but I mean locally down. I mean, there was in December 2014, which a lot of people remember. They talk about and we see pictures even still. You'll go to. It only snowed by the wineries and a few other places, I think. Yeah, but
it did hit the ground in some places, but it didn't hit here. It hit the ground further up. Because remember they had pictures last year of Wilson Creek and Botaya.
Yeah, but that was from 2014.
No, I'm talking about last year.
No, I mean people, but when we see a lot of those
the other photos
that they have, those are from 2014. I'm
talking about a little bit it snowed last year though.
Okay. But I'm just trying to emphasize the biggest time.
Yeah, the biggest time. Yeah.
And I think it stayed supposedly for a day or something.
Back then,
that one time. So, anyway, Temecula.
Then that goes back to me saying with such high elevation.
Yeah.
Like 1,300 feet or whatever, yeah.
Temecula is in the top 10 best wine travel destinations for 2019. 2018, last year, marked the 50th anniversary of Temecula Valley Wine Country. Again, as I said, the first commercial vineyard was planted in 1968. Has over 40... Temecula Valley has over 40 licensed wineries. I said that earlier, but that they produce over 500,000 cases annually, so 500,000 cases. If you come to visit, you can easily maneuver from one winery to another, but don't expect to visit all these wineries in one day because it's a lot, and that's a lot of drinking.
We've been here 3 years, and we've only been to what? Almost all of them?
We've been a lot. Yeah.
Well, we're only missing like a few now, right?
Yeah. So most of the wineries are open from like 10 or 11 a.m. and they usually close around 5 or 6 p.m. with a few staying open as late as 9 p.m. But that's usually mainly for special events. So like what I just mentioned, Maurice Carey, like they have an event coming up on October 25th. It's going to be a Halloween theme, so it's going to be Boo Down. And they, when they do this, they can a lot of times. Sometimes they do stuff that's only members only. Sometimes they have stuff that if you're not a member, you can still go, but it'll be different prices. So like for them, it's $20 if you're a wine member, $35 if you're not. Am I plugging something? Maybe I am. But it will be a good time, I think. So that's October 25th is a Friday. You may see someone behind the bar you recognize if you can make it out. Serving you some wine. So yeah, they say the other safe and fun option to see the wineries is by taking a guided tour with transportation. The tours
which I've never done, which I want to do.
And I have, and it is fun. And it's safe. Yeah. You get picked up depending on at least for when I did it, there was a couple locations that they might pick you up. Like they may pick you up from the hotel, or where we met was right outside of Stampede and Bailey's. Okay. So they came there, and then they took us to the winery. Went to 4. Now I think they usually do 3.
Then they drop you back off at the pickup point.
Yep.
Okay. So how do you drive home after that?
We hung out in Old Town. It was 4 of us
to sober up.
And exactly. And the ladies at the time, so it was my cousin, his wife, friend of mine. We just like his wife, I think she tapped out pretty early.
Yeah. Which most people do. Let me, if I could just speak to that for a second. A lot of times, people come out here, guys that are used to drinking tequila or vodka and this, that, and the other. And wine is a different type of buzz. So a lot of people come out here that's used to drinking hard liquor, and they come out here and end up passing out or throwing up. After doing a few wineries, because they think they can handle the wine, but they really can't, because it's a different type of of buzz.
I mean, it hits you differently. You can
vodka or tequila or hard liquor.
And we've even I just want to just end that. Many of the the wineries do different things of offering besides just tours. You can also people get married out here, have their weddings,
a lot of people get married.
or you just come here for a simple getaway. But you do have to be careful. You have to definitely stay hydrated, drink some water, because you start so early. Sometimes you're drinking, and if you don't even think about it or you need to eat before. But what I was gonna say is there's times I've gotten a glass of wine, sat, drank, and other times and not feel anything. Then you do a tasting, which is usually either 5 or 6 1 ounce or maybe 1.5 ounces pours, and have been tipsy by the time I got to my 5th, my last one. It was why am I like this? But I tend to think it's mainly because when you sitting there, you took one sip to get the flavor and everything, but then it's like boom, and then if you go to another, after a few, when you do the tour, all the wines almost taste alike. I do have to unfortunately say that one.
About those sips that gets you, man. It's weird. You can go to some wineries and have like a glass at each one and not be as tipsy. I don't know, but if you went and did a tasting all day at a few different ones, something about those little increments of sips just gets you. And I don't know what it is.
And to add about the wineries, so right now, I was told there was like 54. We right now definitely could say it's over 40.
Yeah, over 40,
and we've been able to add that up by counting them that we know of and have found. But they want to double it in 5 years or 10 years.
Wow.
So they want to go from 50 to 100 essentially. So
Or 40 to 80 if it's just
Yeah.
40 something.
and then and a lot of some of the wineries are changing ownership, like Maurice Carey I just mentioned, Europa. I think they've got some investors, so they're building some really big new area. But the wineries are trying to and are expanding. So I know again, Maurice Carey, they're renovating. Wilson Creek, they're doing their thing and renovating. Some places are known for different things. Again, Wilson Creek has that almond champagne. If you're ever or almond sparkling wine. Maurice Carey, known for that brie bread, sourdough bread.
Really good. That bread should be illegal. I always say that because it tastes that good. And it's funny, it's known for that too. When you go to wine country, like how you say Wilson Creek is known for the almond, that's known for the. Everyone asks about the brie bread.
Yeah.
Everyone I know in LA, where I moved from, ask about the almond at Wilson Creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like everybody has heard about that. As a matter of fact, last year for New Year's, I sent a bunch of producers, an almond champagne.
Oh, nice.
Wrap. That's what I did. Some of the main producers I'm doing the projects and stuff with. They all appreciate it. Oh man, thanks for that almond champagne.
And now that you say that, it reminded me of a person that I saw came into the winery once, and she was saying how she joins different wine clubs for that particular reason. Like she joined a wine club just for the sparklings to be able to get the discount and then give it to as gifts, or I think she's in real estate to for her customers and stuff like that. And again, as a gift. And one interesting thing, which I've done wine clubs when I was in Wisconsin, and it's different because you get big shipments of everything at one time. But it's nice being able to come out here. You get to taste them. Yeah. And then if you join them and you come and you're out here, some wineries give you a free tasting every day.
Right. When you remember,
like Wilson Creek, Maurice Carey, and then other places you just get so many tastings a month.
Yeah.
And when you do, you get some places give you a big, nice little stack of chips, which again usually is about 5 or 6.
Yeah, and I like how Peltzer gives you like the bread with the tasting to pair it with. You know what I mean? It's really cool that they do it. And talking about the holidays, it's great for the holidays. It's funny you mentioned that because I was just thinking that yesterday. Like, man, holidays are coming up. I can go to Wilson Creek and grab some bottles and send back out to some folks. You know what I mean? And it's so great for that. You know what I mean?
And there's in Old Town, I didn't really go into that one too much, but because it's part of the wineries. It's part of the area, and it has its thing.
The whole experience.
Yeah. And maybe we can just expand on that a little. Old Town. It's a really nice, quaint area. It does have its nightlife, but during the day, there's a lot of antique places to go. Definitely restaurants. So it's a spot to check out.
Yeah, guys, if you want to take a lady on a date, Temecula Wine Country vacation. That's what I meant. A quick vacation. It's a really cool spot. You can come and get a hotel for the weekend in Wine Country, and y'all could wine taste, go into Old Town, do dinner. It's the bomb.com, little quaint spot to go on vacation with the lady. Like seriously, because the hotels are the hotels in Wine Country that are part of some of the wineries. You're right there. You can just Uber around back and drive, and you can walk to some of them. I mean, it's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, that's true. You can walk to some. You can easily Uber. Yeah. And then if you took your car to one spot, had a tasting, you can leave. Sometimes you can leave them there, and then still Uber to wherever. Yeah, come back later in the morning and get it. Yes, it's really, really cool. In fact, before I moved here, a girlfriend at the time did an Airbnb out here. This is before I even knew I was going to move here. And we came for the weekend. My birthday is Valentine's Day. So she rented a house, and me, her, another couple did a whole Valentine's Day joint out here for a couple of nights at a house. And the house she rented was literally like a walking distance from Monte d'Or. So we walked through the vineyard and went up to Monte d'Or and had drinks, and we ended up going to Old Town. Everything that I'm telling you guys to do. Yeah, so it was really cool. And that's some especially during the right time before the vines are harvested, that you could walk through and take some really nice pictures.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yep.
And a lot of the wineries have nice views. Just it's a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
And what brought you to Temecula? Yeah.
Oh, just, I'd seen it when I came for my birthday that time, and then just the less crime, because I came from LA, as you know.
Yeah.
So just the less crime and the wineries, the peace of mind, less traffic, cost of living. You get so much more for your money. It's funny because me and my agent were just talking about this morning, how I was showing them. We've been looking at these acres, and you can get 5 acres for 200-something thousand, where in LA this acreage is right next to Europa. Yeah, literally, it's 5 acres available for 200-something thousand.
Nice.
In LA, that would be millions for those 5 acres, just for the property. Like flat 5 acres like that, you're talking millions.
Oh, okay.
Compared to, I'm an hour from downtown LA, and I can get this acreage for $290,000, 5 acres, right next to the wineries. Like, it's like.
Well, if you were trying to keep it a secret, you haven't anymore. No.
You think about it, so all those reasons of why, I moved here, man. Just so many good reasons, man. Yeah,
and for me, I had family already living out here, and they kind of chose this because they had to go between Riverside and San Diego, and was like, this is a perfect spot. Came to visit. Was like, what? Wineries? Are you kidding me? So after my divorce, I was like, yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I mean, it's time for a change. And I say unfortunate because my son had to stay back, but it was just time for him to try something different. And I was born out here, but never raised, so I definitely had to pull something in me that was just like tugging me to live in California. Yeah,
exactly. And it's funny. I don't think, anyone ever gets tired of drinking, especially drinking wine, because it doesn't affect you the same way hard liquor does.
True.
So I was talking to one of our guys that we see all the time in Wine Country, Call, and he was saying, man, we were talking about living situations. I mean, he was like, dude, I'd never move somewhere else and not be able to come do this every day. He was like, I'd rather do this every day than live somewhere else where I have to drive to this.
Okay.
Because drinking, especially something like wine, I don't think it's something that you could ever get tired of. Who have you ever met that got tired of drinking, who wasn't an alcoholic, who was forced to stop or had to go to AA? You know what I mean? Because the people that know how to just moderately drink, who have you seen ever get tired of drinking? You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? So the wineries are kind of associated with that. My whole point is, if I can finish my point, living in LA for 20 years and growing up in Miami, where I lived like right next to the beach, we did get tired of going to the beach.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Living in LA, in Culver City, I lived 10 minutes from the ocean. I never went.
Oh.
You get tired of doing that.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? But I don't never see myself getting tired of going and sitting on the lawn at Wilson Creek, or
that's what I was
going to Miramonte and looking at that view, and just having a glass.
Yeah, and that's what I was. And I wasn't going to interrupt and make a different, but I was going to actually make that same point. Like for me, it is fun to go there, and it's because of the view you're taking in, and you know there are so many there are different varieties of grapes out here, so you get to taste the different kinds. So unless you get kind of like I'm only doing this, you get to taste different things depending on which winery you go to and stuff like that. So even though one winery could have a Chardonnay, I've learned that you can have an oak one, you can have a non-oak.
Yeah, man.
They could, put just maybe a little bit of oak, so it changes the profile of the wine. You've got, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc. Well, I didn't know Cabernet Franc was the original grape, and Cabernet Sauvignon is actually a crossbreed of Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know
just either,
I mean, it's just wine is very interesting to me.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
I don't think I could ever get tired of doing that. Just going and having a glass.
And I will add, just to make a, throw it out there, because some people will be like, I'm not a wine drinker, but I like beer. There's a lot of breweries out here too. So
yeah, and a lot of the wineries have beer too.
Some of them do. Yep.
And you know what I want to say too, and I think the reason why that's something that people don't get tired of, just not including me, is that it's not just going to have a glass, but it's the ambiance of that and the people there also doing the same thing and the energy of that.
Yeah, and
just having a glass and the type of buzz you get with wine just brings a certain vibe and energy that's different from hard liquor, and it's people just all doing the same thing, just enjoying that.
Well, another part of the of coming to the wineries is sometimes you join the wine clubs, which I mentioned, and the prices change and differ. But when you join and you go, if you go enough, you actually start to get kind of familiar with some of the staff, and they become more than just people that work there. You get a little, especially if you kind of see, they become your friends. And then you also meet other people who are living locally, who live locally, and are able to get to, to the wineries a little bit more than others, because we live locally. And then you just, again, you have another community of people that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Right, exactly. It's funny.
And the groups are, so diverse. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's funny. We always meet people from San Diego and surrounding cities and stuff. And they always like, man, you guys do this every day? And they're always like shocked because they have to drive up.
Yeah.
They have work and they have lives and stuff. And they always say they wish they could come and do this every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I do plan on having a place in San Diego and having a place downtown LA. But, Temecula will definitely always be home base for me. Where like my main house is and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Acreage and always. Yeah, and it's so central. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I did was able to afford a home my own little place. So
yeah, exactly. Cool. Are you done?
Yeah, just again to my friends in the Midwest, love y'all, miss you, but I ain't never coming back. So anyway.
Yeah, my agent said the same. I'd be like, nope, I wish I would have found it. 15 years later, I would be here. Trust me. Wow. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that's our show. Today in history, October 16th. I'll knock this one out first because our friend Crispy here grew up in Chicago. You were born in Cali, right? But you grew up in Chicago.
Yep.
In 1943, in October 16th, Chicago's new subway system was officially opened with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. 1943, wow. New York, they had the first one, though, right? Chicago, I think they say
probably,
I think so. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that they always say. This is an interesting one. In 1793, during the French Revolution, Queen Marie Antoinette was beheaded after being convicted of treason. Wow, they were dirty back then, but they'll just cut your head off. What if she really wasn't treasonous? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think there's history to go with that. That she was treating the people very wrong.
Okay, Queen Mary, but they said treason though. Queen Mary Antoinette.
I think, but. The reason why so I think it's treason, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to kind of phrase it.
How she treated
how she treated the people, and I think when you don't treat the people or I guess I'm sort of thinking of Trump right now, and some of the stuff that they're saying that he's treasonous of, and maybe it was something along the line of not supporting your own people. Country. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because that's what treason is, like when you don't support, just like traitor
do it.
When you don't, So I wonder. We'll have to look into that. But anyway, so in 1829 in Boston, Massachusetts, the first modern hotel in America opened. The Tremont Hotel had 170 rooms that rented for $2 a day and including 4 meals.
What?
Wow! In 1829, you could rent a hotel for $2 a day.
And get meals included. 4 meals. That's crazy. What if?
And then in 1869, a hotel in Boston became the first in the U.S. to install indoor plumbing. So what did that hotel do in 1829?
You went outside.
In 40 years prior, because in 1869
Or
they first did indoor plumbing.
bedpans.
Oh yeah,
Possibly.
damn, indoor plumbing in 1869, the first hotel. That's crazy. Okay, so one more. Since we're here in Cali, let's go back to Cali. In 1923, Walt Disney contracted with M.J. Winkler to distribute the Alice comedies. This event is recognized as the start of the Disney Company, Disney Movies, Music, and Books in 1923. That's interesting. What, the Kennedy one?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And add another one. So in 1962, U.S. President Kennedy was informed that there were missile bases in Cuba, beginning the Cuban Missile Crisis. That's interesting. When I was in Cuba in 2017, I didn't have a chance to go to the Bay of Pigs and all that. Next time I go to Cuba, I'll go. But yeah, that's cool. Anyway, guys, that's our show. Thanks for checking in. It's HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith.
What's up?
Don't forget to subscribe on ISENT Group Digital. Thank you for listening on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play and Buzzsprout, Stitcher, the cell phone apps, all that good stuff.
All of it.
And don't forget to follow us on social media.
Yep.
And we will see you guys next week. What are we going to talk about? You know what I think I'm going to talk about next week?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to talk about the Reconstruction era next week.
Okay. I haven't thought
You know
about
what I
that.
mean? Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to talk about. Just so you guys know. So look out for that. That was a very interesting time in history, especially for African Americans. So yeah, that's what's up. Hope you enjoyed the show about Temecula Wine Country. Come out, check us out. We're here. Come hang out with us. You can hit us up on social media. If you want us to meet you, we'll definitely show you around. We'll be happy to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the HPR Chronicles with Shakur and Smith. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.